Welcome to Minecraft, and welcome to Tekkit 3.1. Today I'm going to be explaining the basics of Buildcraft pipes and Redpower 2 tubing. They are both systems for moving objects from one place to another, and for interacting with machines to make automated systems. They are two very different systems, though, and each has its own particular uses. I'm going to start by explaining Buildcraft, and then I'm going to move on to Redpower. Buildcraft piping is complex at first, I suppose. The basic recipe for all pipes in the game is a piece of glass and two of whatever object the pipe is made out of. So for instance, cobblestone pipes made of two cobblestone, stone out of two smooth stone, golden pipes, diamond pipes, so on. There are several advanced pipes that are created by adding a redstone to the crafting recipe, as well as conductive pipes for carrying energy, which require a redstone piece per pipe, and waterproof pipes, which require a piece of pipe waterproofing, which is made from cactus green in a crafting table. The basic pipes for moving objects around in Buildcraft are wooden extractor pipes, smooth stone pipes, which are these lighter gray ones, and cobblestone pipes. The way that these three pipes work are that wooden pipes will extract from an inventory, for instance this chest, and smooth stone and cobblestone pipes are just for getting an object from point A to point B. Cobblestone pipes and smooth stone pipes will not connect to each other, and wooden pipes will not connect to each other. As you can see, I have a line here that has cobblestone pipe going to smooth stone with a wooden pipe as a joiner. And also these two pipes are on top of each other but not interacting. Buildcraft piping can also be used to carry liquids. I have 3 tanks here with the 3 naturally occurring liquids in Tekkit being pumped. This is using a set of iron pipes, golden pipes, cobblestone and stone pipes to show that, once again, that they do not interact, and a piece of redstone piping, which I only have on there to show that it's not working for me, and so I doubt it will work for you. Unless I'm doing it wrong. I'm not sure. Instead of, with transport pipes for objects, the different tiers also have different levels of friction, which are how quickly or how much objects are slowed by traveling through the pipe. For instance, cobblestone has the worst friction, and so if you're moving something over long distances, it would be the slowest. And actually, it can get to the point where an object in a pipe, if it stops traveling, will just fall right out of the pipe. So it's always recommended for longer distances to use smooth stone or better. With liquid pipes, it's a little different. The levels of quality affect the amount of fluid that can travel in the pipe. For instance, these engines are both going at the same speed, and as you can see, these stone pipes are near capacity, while this golden pipe could carry quite a bit more liquid than it has within it. Over here I have a demonstration of all the different item transport pipes to show their uses. I just need to find the redstone torches I tucked away to demonstrate this. As you can see, I have dirt pumping out of this chest. I'm using an advanced wooden pipe here, which is filtered to only take out dirt, so this can be swapped around so that any item but dirt is kept in, or dirt is the only thing taken out. This is a redstone pipe here. As you can see, anytime an object travels through that pipe, it emits a redstone signal turning on this lamp. This is a golden pipe. If it has a redstone signal applied to it, it will launch items quickly. This is an advanced insertion pipe. The way an advanced insertion pipe works is that any item that passes through it will go to the nearest available inventory unless it's full. These dirt blocks are being shot past it. They are hitting the pipe, trying to go into the chest, but realizing there's no room for any dirt. But these sand pieces are going in and having no trouble. This is an iron pipe. It acts as a one-way pipe. It can only have one output no matter how many inputs it has, which is this clear side on it. This is here to keep the dirt blocks from ending up in that chest up there. Here we have a distribution pipe. These are configurable pipes that allow you to distribute items evenly through a system. Right now I have it set for 1 to red, 1 to gray, and 1 to yellow. So these chests should be at or near equal portions. I'm sure this next one will go. Odd. This is an obsidian pipe. Obsidian pipes are pickup pipes. An item dropped near an obsidian pipe that falls into it will be transported into a nearby pipe. If you have a redstone engine or some other type of engine attached to the pipe, it will suck in from an area around it. As you can see, that dirt block just got sucked in, and now they're going all the way back to that chest over there. Over here, I have some diamond pipes, which I'm using to create a sorting system. Each one of these black outputs is configured to a different color of wool. So what's going to happen when I turn this on is that wool is going to get pumped out of this chest, and it's going to be launched with that golden pipe, and then it's going to drop into the appropriate chest based on these diamond pipes. There we are. See, the first 3 have gone in now. One thing I was having a problem with earlier is that sometimes the graphics on this will bug. Like, see, that pink and that gray wool just went in here, but they're actually going to pipes further down the line. I've never had that happen in single player. I think it's just an SMP bug. Okay, and the black wool should be coming out any second now, and then all these chests will be full. There we are. If these were working properly, you would see a good example of pipe friction. Anytime that an object takes a turn or it travels for a long distance, it starts to slow down. And in fact, I noticed it with these pipes when they were working a little better, is that by about here, they were traveling at half the speed that they had when they got out of the launcher pipe. So now every one of these chests has a piece of wool in it, determined by the diamond pipe. And this is my extraction system to reset the sorting system. So all these redstone engines should tick, and a different color piece of wool should go out, and then these iron transport pipes will take it all right back to the chest. If you notice, I have 3 redstone pipes attached to this wooden extractor pipe. That's because every time one of these engines ticks, it only draws out 1 item. And it's just an incredibly slow way of getting items out. If you use something like a steam engine or a combustion engine, you will get more items out per tick, but then you kind of have to babysit them. Redstone engines are best for automated systems, like a chest that you always want to be outputting, but they really are slow. And that's definitely one of the weaknesses of having a sorting system like this, is anytime I turn it on, I gotta wait for the engines to heat up. Takes a while. So that's about everything for the basics of pipework. They're really simple to make. You can start from pretty much day 1 in your Minecraft career making these. I mean, wooden pipes and stone pipes, and all you need is glass. That's the rarest item that you need to get started. They're definitely cheaper than a lot of the Redpower 2 stuff. They're also the best for liquids. I couldn't get oil to work with my Redpower system at all. And even if it did work, the Buildcraft pump interacting with waterproof piping, you can't beat it. There are also teleport pipes, which are very expensive, costing 2 diamond gears each. But if you're going to be transporting something over huge distances, transport pipes are the way to go. Really, the only way to go. When you're hunting down oil out in the field and you want to get it back to your base, a couple of liquid transport pipes will save you a lot of headache. Some of the downsides of using Buildcraft are that it's really hard to get pipe waterproofing early on in any massive quantity. You need a cactus farm, and without forestry in Tekkit, it's just hard getting started. You have to cook all that cactus green, you have to craft it down. If you're going to be doing a big project with liquids, you definitely need a cactus farm. Which, I mean, making a vanilla cactus farm, it's possible, but I just don't like them. I think they take up too much space. Another weakness with this mod is that a lot of the really great additional pipes and additional Buildcraft objects aren't included in SMP. And so you can't make up logistics pipe systems, which I really miss from single-player Technic. You also don't have gates because we're running on Buildcraft 2, not Buildcraft 3, which I heard Buildcraft 3 is coming soon. And maybe when we get logic gates in here, I'll use Buildcraft systems more. And of course, another downside is those visual bugs, which they really bother my OCD because it's hard to tell if a pipe's working properly. If you dump a lot of items into a chest, sometimes we get this bug where items will bounce in and out of a chest, and it just really gets under my skin. I've never had that problem with Redpower on the server. Okay, so getting started with Redpower. Redpower is definitely more complex because you have to create machines to interact with tube work. There really are only 3 basic tubes and a high-speed tube called a mag tube. The pipes in general are smarter than Buildcraft pipes. For instance, if you have a basic stone pipe going into an inventory and the inventory is full, the stone pipe will just drop the item onto the ground when it can't fit anymore. With Buildcraft, with Redpower, what will usually happen is that if all inventories are full, the item will go back to wherever it originated and clog that part up, and then the whole system will clog. But once there's space, the system will free itself up again. So it's easier to get a system set up that you don't have to babysit. And usually all you have to do if something does get clogged is just empty out a few chests. These are 5 of the more basic machines for interacting with inventories here. I have on top a transposer. Then I have a filter, a block breaker, which one's this one? This is the ejector, and then right below it I have the relay. The ejector and the relay are 2 pipes that were added to Redpower for interacting with different mods like Buildcraft. Like you can have pipes pump into these. They act like a small chest. The ejector will eject a single item anytime it receives a redstone signal. The relay will automatically dump any items that go into it into adjacent pipework. So if I take half of this stone here and put it into the relay will instantly shoot it out and throw it over into the system. The transposer up here doesn't have an inventory that you can interact with. As far as I understand, it only has 1 inventory buffer slot in there. When a transposer gets a redstone signal, it will draw a single item from an adjacent inventory. A filter, on the other hand, can be configured to take out specific numbers, and it also has this slot here for adding color, which I'll get into that more when I go over to the sorting system. But by default, a filter will take out an entire stack of items from a chest at once, and it will go through the pipe system as just 1 item. This is a block breaker. It once again does not have an inventory, but it will break any block in front of it and then export it to a adjacent tube in the back. So I have these. This is redstone tubing, and this is basic tubing here behind the glass. Redstone tubing will carry a redstone signal to any machine that it's touching. You can also have it interact with jacketed wire, as I have here, so that I can have this lever hooked up to these guys here. So what I'm going to do is hit the lever, and this transposer is going to draw out 1 item. This filter is going to draw out a stack of items. This block breaker is going to break the block in front of it, and the ejector here is going to spit out 1 of its stone. Before I do that, though, I want to show you 2 other machines that I have here. This is an item detector. It can be configured to detect specific items, and it has 3 modes to it. The basic idea of an item detector is that it will emit a redstone signal when an item goes through it. The 3 modes are the single item mode, which it'll emit a pulse for every single item that goes through. If you put a stack of 64 through here, it'll emit 64 separate pulses. With this mode, it's the stack mode. It will only emit a single pulse per stack. And with this, it will only emit a redstone signal when it's full. The other item I have here, which looks very similar, is the regulator. The regulator has 3 slots to it, and it can also apply paint, just like the transposer, the filter over there. The basic idea with the regulator is that this slot here controls what items can go through. So, for instance, if an entire stack of smoothstone passes through this pipe, it's going to try to go into the regulator, but the regulator is only going to allow 1 stone from that stack to go through. And then this inventory on the right determines how much of that inventory it's attached to can have this item. So it's only going to allow this chest to have 2 stone in it. And as you can see, it already grabbed 1 stone from the relay over here. And the rest, of course, shot into this chest right here. The middle inventory is sort of the buffer, which if a chest gets full and this gets backed up, items can end up in here, and this is just sort of so you can visually check if the regulator is clogged. This is another type of tube here. It's called a restriction tube. With regular tubing, it'll always go to the nearest inventory available first. With a restriction tube, it'll always try to go to a restriction tube last, still based on distance. But like if I had another inventory over here attached with basic tubing, it would try to fill up this chest until the regulator stopped allowing it. Then it would try to fill up this chest, and only then, once both those inventories were full, would it try to dump into this chest right here. So let's turn this on with a flick of the switch. As you can see, that now has a redstone signal in it. Since the item detector is not configured, which I really boned that one up, the lamp didn't go on. Derp. And now there should be 2 stone in here, and the regulator here is turned on and not allowing any more items to go in. The rest of the items ended up in this chest, including that cobblestone that was a smooth stone over here. And when I flick this switch, the redstone signal should come off, and I can switch it again, if I wish. As you can see, only 2 stone have come out of here, only 2 stone have come out of here, but 2 entire stacks have come out of the chest attached to the filter. The other type of tubing is mag tubing. Mag tubing is for moving items at high speed. As you can see, the green wool that I've put in here is really shooting through. It's great for long distance, but it's very, very expensive pipe work. You need fine copper wire. Each of these fine copper wires requires an iron bar. You need obsidian, you need glass, and you only get 8 mag tubes per. You also need these items right here. These are accelerators, which actually they act as both accelerators and decelerators for the system. Those just require 4 blue alloy ingots and 4 obsidian. The way that these work is if they have an adjacent power supply, such as a battery box or some blue alloy wire, they will act as accelerators and shoot items through at high speed. If they don't have any power, they act as decelerators, which this is the only way to get a mag tube to interact properly with a pneumatic tube. Otherwise, the items would just fall out right here. So as you can see, this is a little merry-go-round for lime wool. Next, I'm going to be showing off the fluid system for Redpower. The fluid system for Redpower is definitely more robust than the Buildcraft one, but it's so expensive, and really there's not a lot of stuff to do with liquids in Redpower. The only thing that I've really seen done well with it is a obsidian generator in the nether. Just to demonstrate, when I turn this on, the pump starts working, and it will suck from this grate right here. First, it should suck all of the water from the top inventory. Oh, no, wait, I get this backwards. I should be pumping from this one in the back. As you can see, I don't use this often enough. Never mind, it seems to have bugged on me. It was working fine before. I'm going to assume this is an SMP bug. Maybe it's just visual. But yeah, I love how they look. They really are beautiful. And that's why I added this little S-bend here, because I just wanted to show it off. These pumps here do require bluetricity, just like the mag tubes do. And just, the pumps are expensive as hell. I mean, compared to making a pump in Buildcraft with making a pump in Redpower, you need multiple steps based on multiple items, based on diamond draw plates. It's incredibly complicated, and I find it just to be a pain in the ass. But one thing that really shines with Redpower is sorting systems. I love Redpower sorting systems. The way it works is that you can use paint to color different pneumatic tubing. So I have one of every color here, including one white one up here. As I said before, you can apply colors with a filter, but there's also a machine called a sorting machine, which has multiple slots with configurable colors to it. And right here, the way this is set up right now, I have it set to a mode where any item that the sorting machine does not know how to handle is given a white color, which will export it to this second sorting machine, which does the same, but as you can see, there's no white color here. And just to demonstrate, there are actually two black slots on here because that's how I've configured it. And so white and black will go into the black chest. It is actually possible for me to use a restriction. I could use a restriction tube going through this, and that would mean that any other white on the system would go before this, but I really didn't want to get too complicated. One thing to bear in mind, though, is that because of how items go to the nearest available inventory, I could continue this line of sorting machines all the way up here with this white piping and this, because it's a shorter distance to get to the next sorting machine than to go back to the last white pipe. So this is almost infinitely expandable the way it's set up right now. And when I turn this on, this timer should start pulling out items one by one per stack, because that's a filter right there. And then the sorting machines will color them with the appropriate boxes and dump them into the assigned chests. So as you can see, they all start out orange, but then the sorting machine gets to them. Each one gets its own colored box. As you can see, there's no visual bugs like there were with Buildcraft. Everything's going where it's supposed to go. As you can see, both white and black got that black border because of how the sorting machine was configured. And once everything is in this machine right here, there we are. Okay, everything got sorted properly, and now I can turn this off. There is one last item that I did not show, and that is a retriever I got tucked back here. It was really hard to get the system compact and have that visible, so I ended up just putting a retriever out here. The way a retriever works is it's a lot like a filter or a transposer, but it can work over a distance. It requires Buildcraft power, but I have just one retriever here wired into the back of every chest down this line. So when I start pushing this button, the retriever is going to start sucking from each inventory in turn. First the orange and the magenta, then the blue. Always sucking from the nearest inventory that has items. So this is great if you want to pull from multiple inventories or anything like that. So that's all the basics of Redpower, I suppose. Some of the advantages of Redpower are that the pipes are just a lot smarter. They are better at figuring out where to put stuff, and if you understand how they work, it's easy to make systems that you know won't ever lose items. They're much more robust because of how they use machines. Instead of having a lot of different kinds of pipes, you have just 3 basic tubes and 1 high-speed tube, and then all the heavy lifting is done by the machines. This makes it a lot better for a complex system. Also, they work well with covers. For instance, these are built on covers right here. If I go around to the back, you can see they're not actually mounted on stone. And over here I have the tube work hidden inside blocks by putting covers around it. So I mean, from behind you can't even tell there's pipework there. The paint system, I just love the paint system. Ever since I figured out Redpower, I've been using Redpower's on all my sorting systems. Unless I have logistics pipes, which, I don't know when Tekkit's going to get that. Just the way it interacts with Redpower 2 as a whole, Redpower 2 has so many different systems going well for it. I mean, like frames, and I just love Redpower. Once I got my head around Redpower, I never wanted to stop using it. But there are weaknesses to Redpower. I find Redpower systems to be very, very expensive. And it's definitely not stuff that you can do early game. I mean, just to get basic pipe work, basic tube work, you need an alloy furnace, which, you have to get clay, and you have to be melting down copper and tin together. It's just a lot more work to get started. But once you get up to speed, and you have a good resource production going, it's definitely the better option. The other thing about that complexity and expense, though, is that you really need to think ahead with these. I mean, using a philosopher's stone, you can craft any of these pipes on the fly. You can just take, a stack of glass and a couple of different materials, and you can just build a system out in the field. With Redpower, it's just the items are so complex, and you just have layers and layers. Like a sorting machine, you need a filter, and for a filter, you need a piston, and you need red dope wafers, which you need an alloy furnace for. It's just so much more thinking through the system. that unless you know what you want to have at the end, it's hard to experiment, and it can lead to a lot of headaches when you're getting started. The dependency on blue electric power is also a real handicap. It if you can't get sunlight where you have one of these systems, you're relying on a thermal pile, which you need a lot of space to get a thermal pile system going because they're just so weak. Otherwise, you have to set up like a item transport system for moving batteries from somewhere where you do have sunlight to somewhere where you don't, and that's a huge headache as well, though it is possible. So, I mean, when you're getting started, start with Buildcraft. Learn how pipes move, learn how to interact with inventories, learn how different machines accept items given to them by pipes. But once you have the resources and you have the ability to experiment, start trying Redpower. I just love the mod. I think it's one of the best mods in Technic, and for a long time, I didn't use Redpower at all because I couldn't wrap my head around it, and it just seemed like, oh, why would I use tubing when I already have Buildcraft piping and I know how that works? Why would I use a pump? Why would I use these grates and these pumps when Buildcraft pumps are so much simpler? But once you get past the steep learning curve at the beginning, they're great. There's so much more you can do with it than you can with basic Buildcraft. And until Tekkit starts getting the mod items for Buildcraft, this is definitely going to be the way to go, in multiplayer at least. That's my thoughts. I hope you guys have learned something and have fun in Tekkit.